Biggie on sports. He says what they won't say. Tune in, connect, and hear a different perspective.
Welcome to Biggie on Sport, another episode where we discuss football as well as other sporting codes. And once again, thank you so much for joining us and also watching this particular episode. In today's episode, we'll be focusing on the Football Federation, which is South African Football Association, which is the football body in our country. And also, note that as we'll be talking here, I will be introducing my guest in a minute as we continue discussing right here. We will be discussing about what I may refer to as shenanigans that are happening behind closed doors at SAFA. And please take note that this is not a bashing session episode towards anyone at SAFA, be it officials or the president himself, that is Mr. Jordan. And take note once again that Mr. Jordan has been the president of SAFA since back in 2013, and he led South Africa to a very successful World Cup, or rather FIFA World Cup, that was hosted in the country back in 2010. He has an impeccable CV as a politician, having been the mayor of Mandela Bay, as well as being a lecturer in one of the institutions of higher learning. Therefore, to talk about SAFA this afternoon, I'm joined in the guest, as I've mentioned, that we will be unpacking all those events as they unfold behind closed doors at SAFA. Sia Gentile, the man who is quite colorful, he's well known. He runs a social movement called Not In My Name International, is here with us to share all what is happening at SAFA. Welcome to Biggie on Sport.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. Not excited about the topic, but to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. And yeah, let's get to it.
Siabulela Gentile.
Yes.
Who is Siabulela Gentile? And also give us a brief background on Not In My Name International. What is it all about?
Okay. Not In My Name International is a civil rights movement and lobby group. We started the work in early 2017. Yes. After the death of Karabo Mokoena, the brutal murder of Karabo Mokoena. At the time, I was still employed as a civil engineering consultant. That's my background. It's in civil engineering.
Okay.
After Karabo's death, I then, initiated that big protest in Pretoria to the union buildings. Shortly after that, I thought to myself, we cannot have this campaign starting and ending. We need to create something that will sustain the work that is being done through the campaign. Because we did not invent the hashtag Not In My Name. It has always been there, but it was used loosely by everyone. And so we took it and gave it a home and gave it a structure and sustenance. And so then, I quit my job. I'm unemployed until today. And then I went into civil rights activism. And so that is what we do. So Not In My Name focuses on three key pillars, which are gender equality, social relief of the distressed, as well as education and skills development. Those are our key areas of focus. But of course, we've been involved in a lot of advocacy work, in a lot of lobbying work. I'm saying this for the first time to the first person in the first platform that I also consult for different political parties as well. Okay. So which are in parliament. I won't mention them by name.
Please don't. Please don't, because this is a sporting session.
Yes. I was just saying that is who I am and that is what I do. And lastly, I've also had the privilege of doing work in and outside the country around leadership development and business management. I've been blessed also with a few awards here and there in and outside the country. And so, yeah, really there's nothing interesting about me. What is interesting is the work that I do.
Karabo Mokwena's death, may her soul rest in peace. Is that what prompted you guys to conceptualize this particular movie?
It was the main cause. Maybe we'll talk about this some other time. But growing up as well, I was in a very loving family. But in some point, my father was abusive towards my own mother, and so when that thing happened with Karabo, it brought back sad memories. And then I thought, I need to do something about this.
How prevalent is GBV in our country, and are we winning the fight? Because there are lots and lots of structures and movement who are coming out there, in fact, to try and dissuade perpetrators and not to actually embark on this disdain.
Yeah, look, as an activist, I'm optimistic that we are making progress. But as a citizen, I feel like we're taking a step forward and 2 steps backwards. I don't think we are winning the fight against GBV. I was speaking at another conference yesterday, and one of the things I highlighted was the economic cost of this violence on women. And a lot of people are not aware of this. Even and maybe we'll be talking about this later. I mentioned another organization, a sporting organization, that, you know, GBV cost the country annually over, let's say, 30 billion. And you know that money, it's about 0.9 to 1.3% of the GDP of the country. That money, when the KPMG released that report in 2014, it's probably more worse now, because it's been 10 years. They said you could pay primary school teachers for over a year, all of them in the country. Or you could, you know, pay fees for 900,000 engineering students. You could build schools, you could do this and that. So I always try to use every platform to highlight that GBV is also costly economically. And if we're going to move forward as a country, we must try and end it. And so I'm saying we are not making much progress because of things like that, but also because we've got government, we've got state institutions that are regressing the fight. I don't know if you know that the Gender-Based Violence Command Center has collapsed, where women, if they are being violated, can call and say, I need help now. And then there was a technology that would locate where that woman is. And then, you know, you had, in a space of minutes, the Deputy Minister of Social Development saying the command center has collapsed. And the same interview in the same news station, the minister says, no, it has not collapsed. These are 2 people, a minister and a deputy minister, saying 2 different things, ministers of social development. And then on the other side, a few weeks ago, we found out that 100 million was missing from the same department. And so these things are,
let's hold it there without regressing much, as we would like to focus on sport, especially, but we are linking the two. With what has happened to 2 individuals, which actually were perpetrated by one individual who is the head of SAFA. Back in 2021, we were surprised as a country, and a lady came out in public, Jennifer Ferguson here. I will mention her name because her story is in the public domain. Everybody spoke about that, alleging that she was raped by President Danny Jordan, who is the head of SAFA. The reason why I should remind you, listeners, or viewers, I should remind you why we're talking about gender-based violence, because the 2 factors are intertwined. She came out to say she was raped back in 1993 as a member of parliament, as they were sharing the benches in parliament together with Mr. Danny Jordan. And for some reasons, that case went into thin air. What is the status around the case of Jennifer Hudson implicating Danny Jordan in rape?
Jennifer Ferguson.
Jennifer Ferguson, thank you so much.
I'll be honest with you, right? No one knows. No one knows. And that is an indictment on our, you know, collective willingness to fight the scourge of violence in our societies. No one knows where the case, it just disappears. And this is not anything, you know, that is new. We've seen cases just, look, there could be an update somewhere in a shelf at either at SAFA house or at Mr. Jordan's house or Jennifer's, I don't know. But one of the questions we've been asking is, what happened to the case? And so just to mention that my team, around 2022, they did reach out to her, and she was out of the country that time. And you know what, she had always been communicating with us. I just want the man to acknowledge that what he did to me was wrong. And I'm not interested in this many other things, you know. And at some point we lost contact with her. But the case got back into the public domain. Then Chiki Chiki, it's quiet. So I don't want to put you or myself in a space whereby we are saying things. Yeah, we speculate. Yes. But important to note is that cases such as that one, they have high-profile cases, and it's not for me to say that it has happened or did not happen. But as a leader of society, you must account and say that, you know what, I need to acknowledge that my actions may have offended or may have violated somebody else's boundaries. This woman says this has happened. There's court cases, but as a leader of society, you need to come out and take responsibility. And in a country such as South Africa that has got high cases and levels of violence on women and children, we need leaders who will come out and say, speak out against this thing. And so what we have seen over the years with Mr. Jordan is that lack of accountability. And we don't want to say he's guilty. That's why I always say alleged. I refer to him as an alleged rapist. He's an alleged rapist. And when we're campaigning during the SAFA elections for presidency, we used that. Chief, you are an alleged rapist. It was not us.
You should prove yourself in the court of law.
Yes, and
are a rapist or not.
And so, unfortunately, and I'm happy that you brought it up, because a lot of media houses and platforms are running away from it. I'll tell you a secret. It's not a secret though. One of the big news reporters in the country was saying to us that, he tried running with the same story, and before it could air, he got a call that from his boss. His boss.
That was going to be my next question to you. Are we dealing here, in as far as SAFA is concerned, with someone who's untouchable, with someone strong connectivity somehow to politicians in the country?
No, of course.
Because there's litany of incidents that have happened, which actually will bring about as we continue with our conversation. Is Mr. Jordan untouchable?
He is, not for long, because we are expediting his process now of leaving SAFA House. He must leave, and we will help him to pack, because he's a bit older, may not be as energetic as he used to be. But he enjoys maximum political protection. He enjoys a lot of support internally. SAFA is a very strange organization that the public has got no opinion on what happens. There's NEC members of the National Executive Committee. They are the ones that, and the incumbent is always got powers, because he's got the power and access to the taps, And so he enjoys a lot of support even there. Those guys support him. But I know of a few who actually support him out of fear, not out of respect. And that is not leadership. They don't respect him, they fear him. That if I speak up against this man, I'm out. And a lot of people have spoken up against him, and we all know what happened to them. And one of those people is Mary Ledoba.
Welcome to Mary Ledoba as we continue. Let me remind you that my guest here is Sia Gentile. He is the co-founder member of a justice or social justice movement called Not In My Name International. We're talking here about what's happening at the SAFA House, which is the mother body, a federation that controls our football in South Africa. There's been so many incidents that have been reported that are happening there. Do you think the boat is rocking at SAFA? Do you think cracks are showing at SAFA?
Yeah, definitely the cracks are showing. The boat is rocking. It has been for quite some time now. It's just that sometimes our society becomes too complacent. We just let things be. You would have seen that, for an example, on this latest scandal where the Hawks went and raided SAFA House, that story was big.
We'll speak about that as you continue.
Yeah, but the point I was raising was that the signs have always been there, but now it's bad. It's bad. One of the ways in which you can see that an organization is isn't disarray is the communication that they send out to the public. I'm sure we'll also touch on this later. The persona non grata thing,
declarations.
They sent out and then they recalled and say, oh, by the way, you are no longer a member. So that thing, please disregard it. So that tells you that they're running that thing like a personal spaza shop of Mr. Jordan and his politically connected few friends, and that tells you that the organization has completely collapsed. We've had legends coming out speaking against what is happening at SAFA House. We've got the international community. Kev said, we are worried about the image of football in South Africa. So that tells you that something is fundamentally wrong at SAFA. And unfortunately, it's not the people inside SAFA that are going to sort it out. It is all of us football-loving South Africans and, sports lovers, yeah.
See, without taking much away from Mr. Jordan himself, I think we all know as South Africans, it's generally known, he was instrumental in the bid for the FIFA World Cup back in 2006, which became unsuccessful. And then in the second bid also, fortunately, South Africa won the bid. We became one of the first African country in the continent to host an event of such magnitude. And I think also it was a good economic spin-off for the country and everyone else. My point is that, without taking away everything from Jordan, is that there's what they call FIFA legacy that was left by FIFA itself, the body that controls football in the world. There's been questions raised as to where is the money generated from that FIFA legacy went to. There were transportations in forms of buses that were supposed to have been that is supplied to federations or local federations and so forth. Yes.
And there's also allegations of generators that were used and they disappeared. I wish I also had an answer to say where the money is. In fact, most of the victimization that has been going on inside SAFA has largely been related to those questions. Some of the people that have been victimized have allegedly been raising those questions. What happened to the SAFA, FIFA Legacy Trust money?
Trust money, yes.
And once you start asking such questions, you must leave. And that is why we feel that the man has been holding on to power so much, because he's afraid that once he lets go, then he will, cease to command so much power and so much political protection, and then he will be, exposed and be subjected to all sorts of investigations. But they have started. And just also to say that we don't take away anything, to reiterate from Mr. Jordan, the work that he has done.
Exactly.
We don't take away, we appreciate what he has done for our country. But that does not mean now we must let him go scot-free. And just to make an example about what the ruling party or the liberation movement has done for us, we appreciate that. But we can't now say, no, it's fine, we'll deal with load shedding. We accept load shedding because of abuse. Because of this. So those are some of the issues that are boiling inside SAFA House. And I know that there's other investigations that are going. I spoke to one of the guys who submitted the evidence to the Hawks. He was telling me that there's actually quite a lot. That was just the tip of the iceberg. That raid and the laptops that were taken, they brought them back. But I'm telling you, something big is happening, and it's coming at SAFA House.
There's a trend that is happening at SAFA House. CEOs don't seem to finish their term. Midway through, they become disillusioned, disgruntled, and obviously not coming out on the reasons or circumstances of them leaving that particular house. Why do you think, does this actually endorse statements that Jordan is wielding power in that particular house?
It does. You cannot be a president and be an administrator at the same time. You've got a chief executive officer exactly for that reason, to carry out duties that are related to administration of management level. So what it looks like, and I say this with confidence because I've had an opportunity to sit with people who were in the very same position, the man does not allow, not even flexibility, but as a CEO, we are not allowed to...
Independency. Exercise of independence.
Let me just throw allegedly there, because I don't have money for court. Allegedly.
Yeah, you're right, because already they're taking the Hawks, which is the crime specialized unit, to court.
They're taking everyone to court. Where's the money coming from? No one knows.
Okay.
All these litigations... no one knows. But let me not digress. The CEOs are not staying because of the very same thing. They are not allowed to perform and carry out their duties as mandated by the Constitution of SAFA, the statutes of SAFA, and even by the Constitution of South Africa. I mean, before this lady now, who's a CEO / Secretary General, there was before Lydia,
it was Motlanthe Tebogo Motlanthe,
the advocate.
The advocate, he resigned in a half.
No, because it's hot there. It's hot. When Pharaoh wakes up and says, hey, write a statement, they declare Biggie on spot a persona non grata. We must write. Yeah. Then tomorrow wakes up and say, hey, man, recall that thing.
Yeah.
We must recall
we made a
it.
mistake.
So those are some of the things that tells you that there's no independence, and you can't have CEOs coming in and going, but the president remains. And you think the problem is with the CEOs. It's like when you're a man, you can't be having annually when now you have 15 girlfriends and they're all dumping you, but you're saying they are the problem. No. Yeah. You must reflect.
Yeah, they must.
That
you must reflect.
There's something wrong with you. And that is what is happening at SAFA, because the administrators are leaving, but Pharaoh remains. And the problem seems to be everyone who's coming and going, but not him.
Don't forget, this is Biggie on Sport, your sporting episode. We say what they don't say. My guest right here in studio, it is Sia Gentile, founder member of Not In My Name International, as we unpack the happenings behind SAFA. Here's another lady again, whom I would say Bamhlugumeza. Bamhlugumeza, I think it's known, Bamhlugumeza.
Yes.
I'm talking here about Mary Lidwaba. Mary Lidwaba used to be the chairlady of one of the biggest football teams in South Africa, in Polokwane, if not Limpopo, Ria Stars Football Club, back in the now defunct NSL, which is National Soccer League. And the team produced the likes of Tiko Modise back then, Lucky Lekwati back then, the late Simphiwe Mkhonza, may his soul rest in peace, Gerald Rapahlela. The list is endless. Who once adorned the jerseys of another pirate, Simphiwe Mkhonza, the late, may his soul rest in peace, as well as Gerald Rapahlela. And these are the players actually who took the country to some great heights in as far as Bafana is concerned. And Mary Lidwaba, with her administrative acumen, she has been tipped to become the president of the country. Until recently, as a deputy president of SAFA, she was declared persona non grata by the president. What is disturbing? This declaration was also signed by the CEO as well as members of the NEC, National Executive Committee. Put us through that, take us through that. Is the CEO allowed to attach a signature to such a calling?
No, the CEO or the Secretary General, because I think she's has dual titles, it's not allowed. Even the president himself, not in a democratic South Africa. You can't declare someone a persona non grata at any given point. That thing was used by the apartheid regime to be declared. Because when someone says you are a persona non grata, they actually say you are nothing. You that's the... Yeah, you are nothing.
You are nobody.
Yeah, even if a car can just hit you there.
Yeah, that's it.
You'll die like a dog. Anyway, that was one of the many incidences in which Mamrea Lidwaba has been abused by SAFA. And where do we come in, or where do I come in? Let me take you just under 2 minutes.
But let's remind the viewers, why is such a treatment meted out? Is it because she is vocal, exposing some of the happenings behind closed doors? Is that the reason?
That
is quiet.
Yes, I was gonna say that it is that and fear and you've got a group of old men who fear the ways of human progress. They do not want to see a woman leading. They do not want to see a black woman leading. Mary Lidwaba has proven herself over the years. You mentioned earlier the establishment of Ria Stars, which produced many soccer legends in the country. And so this thing has been going on for years, even before this declaration of persona non grata. They've always been doing this. And yes, it's because she's been vocal. It's because she refused to stand on the sidelines and watch SAFA dying. And if you sit with her,
she belongs to some cabal.
She would always say, but I asked Mr. President, why is 1, 2, 3 happening? And then because of that, it became a little irritation. And I thought this was important to mention about how we came into, to be part of this, because in 2020, removed her from being the deputy president of SAFA.
Of SAFA.
Excuse me. That's when I received a call from her. Say, hey, young man, I need to see you. There's this issue. That was 2020.
2020.
It's like every second year, these guys must do something stupid. Excuse me for the language, but it's, I don't know how you sit as a group of men and women and decide that this is the right thing to do. No one amongst you can say. In fact, I know they are there, but they can't say it, because once you say it, you're out. 2020, Mamrea, what's happening? Now they've removed me. We check what was the issue. Then later they come back and say no. They used the woman again. I won't mention a name. The woman came out and said, one of the former leaders there, no, I'm making space for Mamre Network, which was a lie. It was not making space, but it was because of the pressure. That was the 2020, 2021, 2022, we are going to elections. She made a mistake of raising her hand and said, I want to stand.
To challenge the president.
Yeah. Who are you to challenge the president? Jordan? Who are you? You know? And the series of, abuses. I'll make you one example. I remember we arranged a press conference at the Nelson Mandela Foundation.
Okay.
We had legends. There were Pusha Modise, we called Dr. Kumalo, we called media, to celebrate her and to say that thank you for standing up as a black female in South Africa, because Mamrea is one of the, if not the oldest black woman at football administrator in the country, And then we were saying that we want to appreciate you and wish you well on your runnings, because you can't campaign outside. You must campaign inside.
While they still alive.
You know what SAFA did? A few days, or was it the day before, they wrote a thingy. They sent an email and said she's not allowed to. They came out and said, no, it goes for everyone, but she was not allowed to come there. In fact, that morning, the lawyer said, hey guys, if Mamrea comes there, she's going to be disqualified from running. That alone tells you, where's this democracy? Where's this freedom of association, freedom? Because the public does not vote. It's the NEC members that vote. So her attending that thing was not going to take away anything from Denny Jordan or from SAFA. And then, those things happen. And then 2022, 23, 24, one morning we wake up. In fact, she sent me that letter around 9 in the evening. I said, hey, I just got a letter here.
Declaration of
yes, I'm a persona non grata. What does this mean now? In the morning, the letter was all over. Okay. We arranged another conference, which we did. It was here in Randburg. On the day of the conference, the night before, they sent another email that said, no,
be removed.
In fact, we are recalling that thing. Yeah, we are recalling that declaration. You are no longer persona non grata because, in fact, we just realized that you are not serving in any structure, so we don't have jurisdiction over you. So we are recalling that thing. And then we said, yeah, that's fine. We will partially welcome the withdrawal, but where's the apology? You must apologize. You've just reduced one of the oldest football administrators to nothing, and then
experienced,
yes,
charismatic.
Then you don't
leaders, yes.
You don't apologize. To nothing, you just remove and say that's it. And then we again, kept pushing to involve the minister. I believe they had a meeting with Zizi not so long ago, because
the Minister
of Sports that, Chief, you guys need. I know they are not allowed to interfere according to the FIFA regulations. However, SAFA it's a South African association. If there's issues like this, you need to sit down with the man and say, but President of SAFA, what are the issues? And so I was just giving you a brief background onto it's these abuses and more that are happening at SAFA. Even now, they're still continuing.
As a movement you have endorsed and raised your head and said, Riali Tuawa should become president of SAFA, South African Football Association. The viewer who is watching this episode right now maybe is asking, does she has what it takes to become the president of the football?
No, of course she does. And one of the things she does exceptionally well is how accessible she is to the legends, to the young people, from the old and the young. I mean, when we were running that campaign of, we called it Back on Track in 2022, because we're trying to get South African football back on track. We traveled to the length and breadth of this country, talking to legends that have been elected, by the way, by SAFA. You've got big names in this country, people that took us to, majestic stadiums. They're nothing now. Some have turned drunkards, some are they're using substance because they feel neglected. So Mamre has always been, accessible. But not only that, she's got the experience, she has had a team before. The Ria Stars was playing in the league. So this is someone who knows how to spot talent. She knows not only the business aspect of football, of the sport, but she knows the technical aspect of, what it takes to be a player. And you should see how these guys are around her, Boboteko, and that they respect her. And I think that's what we need in our football right now in South Africa. You don't need a president who's sitting there in the big mountain there, who's only seen by special people. And so when the elections were taking place, we said that this is the woman that we support. And we did petitions. We spoke to other civil rights groups. We spoke to politicians. Everyone was like, Denny must go. But the last decision remains with the National Executive Committee members
of SAFA,
who must eventually vote, as well as, not NEC members only, the structures of SAFA, the FLAs across the country. And now it's like in general politics, the incumbent, is always wielding so much power. And so it becomes difficult. Let me digress for 5 seconds. I don't know if you saw Rob Herzog was talking to in another platform, and he said that Cyril bought the Nasrec conference on the last night because
those allegations.
Yes, allegedly they got money and paid David Mabuza at night, and then the structures from Mpumalanga crossed to the floor, and that's how the NDZ campaign lost. Same thing.
That's what it does.
No, that's what it does. I mean, why are these people so loyal to someone who's clearly not liked by the public, not liked by his football players, not liked by developmental structures? He's being under investigation by law enforcement agencies. He's got rape allegations.
That was going to be my next question, that this man has been tainted not in only one incident of criminality. There are also recent allegations that he has embezzled millions of rands from the coffers of SAFA, but nothing is coming forth. Do you think the raid by the Hawks, was it a proper one, or it was just a public relations stunt?
I personally, I've got reservations with how these raids are done. I mean, I don't know if it's because it's elections, or I don't know, but someone probably picks up the phone and say, "Hey, we're going to raid the Biggie's house. Can the media come?" How does it? Because there's always media there when there's a raid.
Exactly.
But that's besides the point. For me, the raid was necessary.
Okay.
I may not agree with how they turn it into a PR
exercise.
Yes. I believe that people must be held accountable. But I don't know, we are shooting content for Moja Lavo for what now? Let's do the right things. But for me, it was justified. As I said, I've spoken to people who are persons of interest in that case. People who have been part of the campaign that we've been doing, that these are the issues, and evidence is submitted. These are not allegations, but we've submitted evidence. And so when that happens, we need to support our law enforcement agencies. We need to have utmost faith in the work that they do.
Apparently, there is, sorry to interject, devices such as computers, laptops, USBs, and so forth were seized, and when they returned back to SAFA House.
Yeah. And this thing now, they're saying that they want, they're taking the agency to court or to whatever. They want them to apologize, but Bona, they are failing to apologize when they call people the persona non grata. So they they're saying one thing and doing the other, and that by definition in an English language is hypocrisy, because you're saying X and doing Z. But the point I'm making is that whether they returned the laptops or not, that is neither near or there. That does not mean that the case has gone away. That does not mean that no wrong was found. It only means that the part of investigations involved retrieving those things, whatever is found there, still remains to be shared. But what is critical and what we should be talking about is, how is that affecting the image of South Africa and South African football?
In terms of football, you're right.
Exactly. And Kev came out and said, guys, write us a letter and explain what is happening. And then one of the requests that we had as a group, and I personally made, was that the response of Mr. Jordan and SAFA to CAF must be made public, because South Africa, this is an issue of public interest. South Africans need to know what is it that Mr. Jordan told CAF. We need to know. We love football, we love SAFA, and we love the sports. And so, unfortunately, that has not been done, like many other things anyway.
Do you echo the sentiments, or rather, do you share the sentiments echoed by one of the great African football who was played for Barcelona, Samuel Eto'o, attacking the president, Danny Jordan, that South Africa is a resourceful country, but you are taking or tracking down the institution itself?
Most definitely. I echo the sentiments 110%, because you cannot have a country that is resourceful as ours and then it's been dragged in the mud like this. And so one of the ways in which we can clean our image is to get rid of whoever that is tainting this image. And I'm telling you now, even people who don't follow sport, they know when you say Danny Jordan, they're like, that man must go. There's been many scandals. There was issues of Banyana.
I was about to come to that as well as we progress. To why every time when Banyana are supposed to kick a ball for an official match, there has to be boardroom meetings in terms of remunerations, how much do we get and so forth. Why do we still have such leadership that cannot get its house in order?
It's because there is no leadership. That's the thing. And as I said, that the association is being run like a spaza shop, a personal spaza shop. I mean, the conditions in which Banyana are being, treated, or the way in which they operate, is not nice, even compared to Bafana. But that's a story for another day. But how things have happened in the past, it tells you that SAFA has collapsed, and I mean it at the leadership level, at management level. It's because it is centered around one man and his ego, and how he controls everyone that is around him. I'm telling you now, the footballing fraternity in this country has got potential to grow. As Edo said, that we've got the resources, we've got everything that we need, but our image is tainted. And do you know that now sponsors don't want to associate with SAFA? It's because of this many scandals that are following this man. The next thing he was a mayor. The next thing he's a politician. So we need to make sure that Mr. Jordan, is excused, so that the business of SAFA can.
Do you think he will ever step down, because he's now lobbying for a bid for 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup to be hosted in South Africa?
This is his third and hopefully the last time that he's being president. But sources again have revealed that he's actually consolidating power to amend the Constitution allegedly to allow him fourth term. And when you tell people this thing, they don't believe it. But it's possible. These are the people who have over time they've amended their own statutes as they go. We've seen it over the years that SAFA is able to change something in their constitution quickly, or they can come and do something. Again, that declaration, there is nowhere in the SAFA constitution that says you can declare someone a persona non grata. It's not there, but they were able to do it. And so it's possible that come the end of this term, they can actually tell us that Mr. Jordan is standing for fourth term. And I'm telling you, because of he knows that he's done a lot of mess, he needs to cling onto that thing to enjoy the political protection.
With such tainted reputation around our football body, where are we heading to as South Africans?
We are heading nowhere until we remove that man. And the only way right now we feel that it is possible to remove that man is to mobilize all South Africans to make them aware that, guys, our football has gone to the dogs. And unfortunately, until we remove Mr. Jordan and his NEC there, nothing is going to change. In fact, one of the things that we're calling for is that SAFA must be, what do they call that thing? Is it a naturalization or something like that, where FIFA comes in and dissolves that thing, and then they put in temporary neutralization. SAFA must be neutralized. It's an extreme, extreme process and a call which must happen under certain, there must be requirements that are met. One of them being financial mismanagement, political, I think is also political interference and things like that. And so we are saying that needs to be, processed quickly, and then they put in temporary administrators and they get the house in order. Because I'm telling you, that thing has collapsed. It has, and it's painful because, if you travel around the country, look at these FLAs, local football associations, they don't have resources. They don't, but you find out, now the president has bought NEC members' cars, allegedly. Cars, do you need, how is that going to, you look at the money that is, so we are saying that the only way that South African football can chart the way to redemption, it is to remove this man. And it's not something I'm saying out of fear. I've been saying it for the past 4 years because we're not afraid of him and his friends. They must leave. If not, I'm telling you, we'll always be having these issues. Banyana's money is not being paid. Bafana.
Coaches becoming disgruntled.
So the man must go.
Because coach of Bafana, he reproduced twice. He threatened to leave.
Why? Because there is lack of leadership. And if nature abhors a vacuum in leadership, when there is no leadership or there's a vacuum, even nature gets frustrated. So that man must go.
So we're about to wrap it up. Finally, what is the status? Where are you guys standing as Not In My Name International with regard to Me Realitwawa? Are we going to see Me Realitwawa one of these days ascending to the position of being the president of SAFA in South Africa? Because South Africa is really, I can tell you now, they're lobbying for that. They're looking forward to that, including Lucas Radebe as well. It's been a clear call to have Lucas Radebe to raise his hand and Me Realitwawa.
Look, we've had an opportunity to campaign and say to South Africans, let's give Me Realitwawa an opportunity. We went to elections and we did not win. One day I'll connect with someone, must tell you what happened during those elections. We lost the elections. And so...
They were rigged. Were they rigged?
Allegedly.
It's possible.
Yeah. So to say that she wants to, I can't disclose that.
Okay.
But do I personally feel like she still has the energy and the technical know-how to do it? Then yes, for sure. But as an organization, we are not in politics of personalities. We're not supporting Me Realitwawa because Kim Me Realitwawa. We're supporting her because of her experience, and it's the right thing to do. And we feel that there must be transformation in sports, and we felt strongly that it's time that we allow a woman to lead the association. But of course, you've got Boru, you've got Doctor. I've spoken to him, it did not indicate where he's standing. Doctor, though, I've never met Lucas Radebe, I won't lie. But Doctor, I have spoken to a few times. And so, if she has the energy and she feels, but so knowing Me Realitwawa personally, she wouldn't mind even saying that, no, let it be, because she's fighting to save the soul of football. It's not about her personally.
This is your opportunity. Here's a platform. Not In My Name International. Sell it to the audience.
Not In My Name International is responsible for the hashtag Not In My Name against social ills, gender-based violence, and we're promoting human rights, social justice, as well as assisting the vulnerable people in our communities. Get in touch, get involved. Its email address is info@nimni.org. We are available on all social media platforms at Not In My Name, int, Not In My Name, in Instagram, X, and all these other socials, Facebook. What we do is a work that should be done by every one of us in South Africa. We don't even, getting anything back from doing this, but it's out of the love of our communities. And I'd like you to get in touch, to get involved, and get in touch and get involved also on the SAFA program of assisting Mr. Yenid Jordan to move away from office. Thank you.
With that being said, this is a Biggie on Sport episode looking at SAFA, and we hope that you are going to share and like our socials as reflected at the bottom of our screen. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Until then, sharp, sharp.
Sharp, sharp.